haven't talked about this in the air, but I will tell you, I had this very unfortunate, bizarre, weird man, large, confront me in the grocery store like 6 weeks ago. Yeah, got in my face, was not a fan, mentioned my children, saying he knows where I live. He knows where my children go to school and he wants me out. I mean, it was threatening. There's no question. And when it was over, my heart was racing. And I am a, cynical, seasoned journalist who's had many confrontations that are unfortunate over the course of my 20 years in the business. But it still was very jarring, especially in the wake of Charlie. But I didn't know where it was going. He was larger than I was. He was a man. His voice was elevated. He had true hatred in his eyes. And I, even though we were in a public place, thought, I don't know where this is going. I don't know what this guy's going to do or what he's capable of. And I am a mature woman who's in the public eye. These are civilians who are teenagers, preteens, children, innocent. That one guy he got in the face of looked like he was maybe 20, who are there completely with their guards down. And let me just say something else. That was part of what was so jarring about it for me, is that my guard was down too. I was in the grocery store.
Yeah.
So you don't have any of your armor on. You know what I mean? Right. If I walk into CPAC and someone gets on me outside of CPAC, okay, I know, I get it. Turning Point, I know that you're going to get it as a conservative woman, especially. But the grocery store, and times 1,000 for churchgoers, right? Who are there not only not expecting confrontation, but in many ways, as you know better than anybody, at their most vulnerable and open and exposed.
Yes. Okay. Well, I just have to ask you, and I'm sure everyone else is wondering this too. What did you do and what did you say?
So first I told him he was a low information voter, and that was unfortunate for him because he was getting on me about things he claimed to have seen on the show. And then when he started mentioning that he knew where my children went to school and where we lived, it did dawn on me that I better get a picture of this person because I did not know where this was going. Yeah. So then I did, and I asked him for his name, which he refused to give me. And I was like, "Oh, you're super tough to come confront me in the grocery store, but you're not so tough to give me your name," which I knew I'd have in 2 minutes, which then I did. And then the police went and paid him a visit to make sure that he understood you're actually not allowed to do that this is potentially a crime, and that I could have gotten a restraining order against him in 2 minutes. I easily could have gotten a restraining order against this guy whose identity I did uncover. But because I'm not looking to cause trouble in my community, I didn't do it. Now, if this guy ever comes my way or my family's way again, I will have him arrested and I will get a restraining order. But I wasn't, I wasn't looking to make a bigger thing out of it than it was. He was an asshole. He behaved like a complete jerk, especially given the, he's a large man. I'm like on the petite side, female. Mm-hmm. Don't be a complete asshole. But he was. Whatever. It was handled. The police made him understand that you're not allowed to do that, and that if any other bad behavior happens, they'll be back. Yeah. But I will say, I then talked to my security team about it, and they did tell me something that was valuable to both me and you and anybody else listening, which is whenever somebody gets in your face, the very first thing you do is to call 911, especially if you don't know where it's going. You worry about overreacting. It's not overreacting. They were saying that the sooner you get a good guy with a gun coming to you, the better. Before you take a picture, before you have an ongoing dialogue, before other people come. And by the way, the other shoppers were wonderful. As soon as I got away from this guy, a couple of women in particular came right over. They were like, he's such an asshole. I couldn't believe that. They didn't know what to do. Everybody felt powerless in the moment. But my whole point of telling you is that I was shaking and off balance and definitely felt threatened. And so I can only imagine what these kids were feeling when they're mentioning shooting. They're extremely angry. Yeah. It's a group of them. They're in your face screaming. Mm-hmm. They're all over the aisles. Your pastor has told them to get out and they won't. And just months earlier, there's been a mass shooting at a Catholic church connected to a school. So it's just there is not going to be any problem arguing threat when you you're going to get it unless you support abortion is basically what was spray painted on that wall. Like this, they've got him dead to rights. And all of this is to underscore how outrageous it was, Allie. Like, it's not just if you're a Christian. Anybody should be able to see it truly was a before and after moment in protests in America.
Yeah. And, it's obviously so horrifying, and I wish it hadn't happened, but it is a wake-up call to Christians everywhere else. For some reason, on this immigration issue, on any issue that is considered social justice, so whether it was George Floyd then or Renee Good now, I find a lot of women, even in my audience, evangelical women, are just duped by the propaganda. Like they really it starts to chip away at their conscience. And they're like, okay, maybe this really is going too far. Maybe they really are putting kids in cages. Maybe this is really bad. And I don't know, I should speak out against ICE or Trump or deportations or whatever it is. But they see something like this, and they see that those who claim to be on the good side, on the side of the most vulnerable, are getting in children's faces and screaming at them that they're privileged pigs. They're chasing little girls in American flag sweaters into their van and telling them that they're going to hell and not real Christians. Like when you see that, I just hope that it is a wake-up call. And I hope that it shows the Christians who are maybe just like they feel torn about this, they don't know what to believe. I just want to show you that is the evil side, that there's no justification for that these are not good people, that this is not about Renee Good. Like this woman, Nikita or whatever her name is, this William Kelly, they don't care about Renee Good. This is not about justice. This is not about opposing violence. These people are always looking for any trigger incident that will justify terrorizing Christians and conservatives. They're looking to loot. They're looking to riot. They're looking to disrupt. They're looking to cause chaos because they believe that the whole American system is oppressive and racist and whatever it is. And so they are simply looking for an excuse to go into these conservative churches. I know this church, it's a conservative church. That's probably part of the reason why they targeted it, and they are trying to make you as uncomfortable as possible to intimidate you out of being conservative or pro-ICE or whatever it is. They didn't care about George Floyd then. They don't care about Renee Good now. They're simply looking for a reason to terrorize. That's what BLM is. That's what these progressive activists do.
That's right. And there's no reasoning with them. Like
Nope.
It's been very helpful to have Don Lemon do what he did and then go on that podcast with the angry lady on Monday, because he says it out loud. If you're a Christian sitting in the pews, you're a white supremacist. Truly, there is zero evidence that anybody in that church is a white supremacist. I mean, truly zero. I can't even say this is a church where Derek Chauvin attended and they were rallying behind him after George Floyd, which by the way would have been the right thing to do. But anyway, you can't even say that. They've done nothing. Maybe there was a pastor who had some affiliation with ICE.
Yeah.
I have no idea what my priest might be affiliated with in his spare time. Yeah,
by the way, if that is true, good on that pastor. That's great. I hope that more pastors join ICE. I want there to be godly men who see citizenship as something that's important. I want them to be deporting people who shouldn't be here. All of them, by the way, not just the violent criminals. But I especially want them to be targeting those who are rapists, who are, killed people through manslaughter or murder or drug traffickers or whatever. There's a lot of those in Minneapolis because it's a safe haven for that kind of behavior. And so I think that pastor should get a medal. I think he should be applauded.
Yes.
But instead, because he's an advocate for actual justice, his entire church gets punished. And that's the thing about these people. They say they're advocates for justice, but their version of justice is punishing people who are not involved in the things that they are angry about. That's literally the opposite of justice.
That's such a great point. The whole, reparations movement for people who had zero ancestors here when we had slavery in America, who have absolutely no connection to it, have to pay reparations to people who also had zero connection to slavery, but just happen to have black skin. Why? The shaming of young white boys in today's day and age for sins that happened hundreds of years ago by white men they have zero connection to. It's insane. You're so right. So what they're saying now, what they're doing now is just an extension of this pernicious ideology we thought we had snuffed out. But no, it's still out there. Here's an example. We've played this this week, but just it's timely. Lemon talking about the churchgoers in SOT 29.
I think that there is obviously there's racism in it. The whole point of it is that they're detaining people on the streets because of accents in the color of their skin, and they're also targeting people of color and black people as well as brown people. So there is a certain degree of racism there, and there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy, and they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much. And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic.
I mean, the nerve. So these Christians are white supremacists, and they're the ones practicing intimidation tactics. I mean, it just completely turns everything on its head.
It's total projection. Also, I just can't believe people believe things like this. Like, in what world do you have to live in to believe that we only have religious freedom for white males? I mean, we have Islamic communities that are trying to create whole cities based on their religion. And by the way, I do think that people of all religions should have religious freedom. While I disagree with that kind of institutionalization, it's just not true, is my point. We have a lot of other religions that are growing in number and growing in power. But these people, especially that dumb interviewer, she's like, I think, one of the worst people in media, but they're just feeding on this stuff and they're, yep, it's true. Only white men have religious liberty. I mean, if you are progressive in this country, you live in an alternate reality that doesn't have any correspondence with reality whatsoever. If you remember, a few years ago, there was a study that came out in the era of George Floyd in 2020, and the researcher asked liberals how many unarmed black men they believed were killed by the police every year. The real number, I think, is like 12. And the average answer was above 10,000. So that just kind of gives you an understanding of where progressives are coming from. A lot of them are like that guy who, intimidated you in the grocery store. They just don't have any grounding in the truth. And that makes you insane, and it makes you do insane things.
A new year means new financial goals, like making sure your savings are secure and diversified. Will this be the year you decide to talk to somebody from Birch Gold Group? You've been thinking about it. They use an educated approach with a deep understanding of macroeconomics. There are forces pushing the dollar lower right now and gold higher, which is why they believe every American should own physical gold. So until January 30th, if you are a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, just text MK to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you are still eligible for a rebate of up to $10,000. Consider making right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy by January 30th. Text MK to the number 989898 and claim your eligibility today. Again, text MK to 989898 now. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.